And now we're excited to, we've been looking at impact of technology in finance and education, especially. We've gone through a lot of our research and a lot of work on impact. And now we're excited to turn to the conversation towards the use of technology in the education sector. And I'm really happy and honored to welcome three leaders of university-based innovation centers: Abhishek Nayak from Tech de Monterey, Isabel Howe from Stanford, and Winston Oyenge, with whom I enjoyed a wonderful meeting this morning at Strathmore from the Technical University of Kenya. Thank you all for being here. And we're going to jump straight into it. So you all lead education-focused innovation accelerators in very different corners of the world, in Nairobi, Mexico City, and in Silicon Valley in the US. And so, Obvious first question: what are some of the innovations that your organizations are working on now? What new technology-enabled tools and services should we look out for? And perhaps we should start with you, Winston, in Nairobi, just as a brief introductory question.
Thank you very much, Saren. I think I'll dive straight into it. There have been ideas that have been exciting to us, that have been part of our past researches that we are then trying to convert into prototypes. So one that really stands out is out of a conviction that for someone to be able to perform very well in the workplace, they have to be perfectly suited for the career they've taken. And career guidance in Africa is still very, very, very low. Like children are not exactly exposed to all the options of careers out there before as they join the colleges or university. So we are trying to convert a career guidance and college course expert system, a very simple expert system that tries to exploit a certain typology indicator regime called Myers-Briggs typology indicator, which he believes that everyone is 1 out of 16 possible personality types, and each personality type is really suited to a particular narrow set of careers. So that if you're responding to a set of about 72 questions, then it will be possible to determine your personality type in terms of whether you're introverted or extroverted, you're sensory, judgmental, and then fairly leads you to the right career. There's also another, which is a portal for anyone who has looked at Wazoku. Wazoku is an American portal that came from Innocentive. I first interacted with it somewhere around 2016. It was called Innocentive. What it does, it's a portal where industry posts, clearly defined manner posts all its problems within its manufacturing plants, within its marketing, and it posts. And then the university community or research community have exposure or have access to these posts, then can work through and everyone would pick what they think they can solve within research. Then it implies, therefore, that the researchers at the university would have the ability to focus exactly on skills and processes which respond to what industry needs. I may also advise the curriculum within the university. There are some others but these two particularly stood out. But there's also another one that we are thinking of working on, and that's a simple one. You in our primary schools, we sometimes don't know when children are supposed to transition from vernacular to say English. We don't know, because at the beginning, at home, children speak in vernacular. When they come in at first grade, if you can't transition them fast into English, because then they would miss some of the formative concepts that the teachers would be wanting to share. So at what point? But again, if you let them too late, then they don't interact with the English early enough, and they would have trouble at later stages of education. So at what point? But one thing that can really make this seamless transition is a voice-based vernacular English translator. So that if I speak to a child as a teacher, I can speak to the child in vernacular, but the child gets the English version. And it can interplay like that over years, then the child will be able to transition and know this means this, and this means this backwards. Thank you very
Perfect,
much.
Winston. This is thank you, and perhaps just as a brief addition, Isabel, highlights from Stanford.
Yeah, thank you, Soren, and thank you, Winston, for those amazing innovations you're working on. Super inspiring. So at the Stanford Accelerator for Learning, just maybe just brief context, we believe that we are entering a revolution in learning due to three factors. One is the influx of big data. Two is a convergence of many areas of sciences. And three is new technologies. So that's a good segue to your question, Soren, because some of the innovations that we are working on are exactly there at this intersection of big data, this convergence of sciences, and this new tech. So, for example, let me give three very brief ones. One at the intersection of neuroscience, AI, and learning. We are working on Google Glasses for emotional detection for children who are on the spectrum of autism. Super interesting innovation that intersects a lot of those themes. Another one is a new form of math assessment that's using big data and brain scans to identify which kids may be in need of specific interventions. The second area that I was going to mention is AI and VR and immersive learning, which actually offers some really amazing opportunities for global collaborations as part of this really interesting panel and discussions. So we are working, for example, on the concept of virtual field trips. And we have a number of researchers studying how virtual field trips can foster new collaborations, whether it's in K-12 or in higher education. And then, of course, I would be remiss to not mention AI. And I know it has been a big topic already this morning and throughout the sessions, but lots of work from us on using AI, and the areas that I'm particularly excited are the ones where there are new possibilities for learning, such as new ways to provide teacher feedback through natural language processing technologies, or new ways to promote collaborations. Anyway, I will stop there, but we have a lot of different projects, and I'm happy to go into any of them in more details.
Thank you, Isabel, and Abhishek from Mexico City.
Yeah. No, thank you. Just to build on their point, I mean, and give you a bit of context to the crowd. We are EGADE Business School. We are the biggest business school in Mexico, but the interesting part is that we are part of the biggest engineering school in Mexico as well. So because of that situation, we get this beautiful combination of technology and business. And mainly we are doing four things to enhance our learning while incorporating technology into our curriculums and into our best practices. So the first thing that we are doing is gamification. Somehow Mexicans love the fun element, whether it is socializing or the education part. So adding gamification to most of our courses has really helped us in active learning. And given that, human-wise, our attention spans are decreasing. So that really helps us in engaging the students at different levels. Second thing, what we have done is that because of the nature of the engineering school, and given that it's private and really well connected with the government, we have been able to create a really impressive world-class infrastructure wherein we have learning centers with access to technologies such as 3D printers, artificial intelligence, virtual reality headsets, neuromarketing equipment, and large data sets as well. We have collaborations with a lot of universities from Texas